Another man hoping to win electoral office after a few years in the wilderness is the TUV leader, Jim Allister. You're welcome to the programme. This is your third attempt. Europe, Westminster, you failed. If you don't get success this time, will you consider it time to fold up your tent?
Well, I'm not anticipating defeat because I believe that the message that we have is one that resonates more and more. Because when people look at this Assembly and the last 4 years of pretty poor failure on behalf of the executive, they look at the state of education, they look at the inability to deal with the water crisis during the winter, they look at an underfunded health service, and they discover that they have ministers utterly unaccountable for any of that, that we have this bizarre situation where you're prohibited even on opposition in Stormont, where you are prohibited in the election the right to vote a party out of government, even though the people in Scotland and Wales will do precisely that perhaps on the 5th of May.
But we have stability. We have stability.
No, sorry, let me finish. When people look at all of that, they want more. They want a Stormont that works. They haven't got it. So I think many people will reach the conclusion, if they vote again for the same parties that have given them that dysfunctional failure at Stormont, they'll get more of the same. If they stay at home, they'll get more of the same.
We have had stable government.
TUV is the real alternative that is saying we have to put it right by re-injecting the basics of democracy. The right to have an opposition, the right to vote a party out of government, and then we can begin to build a Stormont that just might work.
But after years of conflict and instability, we have had 4 years of constant government.
Of bad government. 4 years, you know, the fact that Stormont survives for 4 years is no victory. What the people need is working government. Look at unemployment. Staggering 150% rise under this Assembly.
These are factors outside the control of the Assembly. We have a £4 billion deficit to make up.
Budgetary decisions to make. The budgetary response has been shambolic. Look at the situation where we underfund our health service but can find 60 million for the GAA, 60 million for football, even though they only look for 30, but we haven't got the money to open a cancer unit in Alton-Gilvin. Look at the waste of £400 million into the useless north-south bodies who've done nothing for anyone.
Let's say you have unprecedented success. Let's say you get a clutch of seats. What will you do? What will be the role of the TUV in the new Assembly?
Our message will be, let's make Stormont work. Let's put in place that which can make it work. Let those who can come together and agree what to do about health, about education, about our economy, form the government, whoever they might be. Those who can't form an opposition.
But if you got the seats, what in practice?
Well, certainly, if that is rejected, if that basic
which it would be, clearly.
Well, you speak as if rejecting democracy is a given. I don't accept that. But if people do reject the fundamental principles of democracy, that those who can agree what to do about the cardinal issues and command the requisite majority should govern, those who can't form the opposition, and thereby you check and balance and get better government than what we have.
That's not going to happen in 2011. It might happen in 10, 12 years' time.
It's not needed in 10 or 12 years. It's needed now. So it's right to contend for it now. If it doesn't happen, if TUV is there, there'll be an opposition in Stormont. You know, if we keep spurning the basics of democracy, then we're never going to get a working Stormont. And of course, we have to address why we're spurning them. We're spurning them because of this bizarre creation that we have in order to buy off terrorism.
All right.
And of course, we saw this week that terrorism has not been bought off because they've looked at Martin McGuinness and seen, my oh my, didn't it work for his IRA?
But what we did have was Sinn Féin and the DUP standing in solidarity, the Irish Taoiseach standing in solidarity saying we reject violence. There is a message coming out of that which seems far removed from the message of your manifesto, which talks about the enemy.
No, sorry. There is a reeking hypocrisy about Martin McGuinness, whose IRA butchered 300 policemen, using the right words when Constable Kerr appallingly was murdered, but refusing to condemn the murders of his own IRA, refusing to say any of that was wrong, refusing to apologise for it, and indeed, week by week, glorifying those who did those murders when they go to these events to celebrate dead terrorists who met their just deserts. Now, why are those
Most people have bought into this settlement, Jim Allister. That's your problem, though.
I'm sorry. I think this week of the widows of 300 policemen and orphans who had no words of remorse from Martin McGuinness or Gerry Adams. And I look upon those who triumphed through their IRA to get into the very heart of government in a system which, because
in a week
it was
which
designed
saw
for that purpose,
a lot of
will never work.
symbolism, which saw the GAA and the PSNI standing side by side. You put a message on Twitter saying that maybe the GAA will now think about changing the names of its clubs and societies which are named after Republican terrorists.
I wish they would.
Do you not think that that's the wrong time even to say something like that?
If something's right, it's right to say it. It is wrong for GAA to have grounds named after dead, vile, vicious terrorists. It is wrong for them to have competitions named after dead, vile, vicious terrorists.
And you don't see any of the symbolism of this week as a change, a welcome change?
No, of course it's welcome when people support law and order, but I want that support to be wholesome. I want it to reach to the past as well as the future. I want those who made the past so awful for so many in this province to face up to the awfulness that they brought upon us, and to stop the hypocrisy in which they have indulged.
Thank you very much indeed.